Have you ever wondered, what if I told you that your entire approach to creating your life, to what is called the law of attraction, has actually been built on a profound misunderstanding? A fundamental flaw that has unknowingly kept you trapped in a cycle of wanting, waiting, and wondering why your dreams feel so far away. What if the very way you breathe, the simplest act of taking in air, is accidentally creating a type of quantum interference, an invisible disturbance that pushes your desires further from you? This is not your fault, for all of us have been taught to operate this way, in a world that believes in separation. But today, together, we will change that. I will share with you a powerful breathing pattern, a method deeply rooted in the very principles that earned physicists Nobel Prizes for their discoveries about the mysterious fabric of reality. This is not just another feel-good technique, but a journey to align your entire being with the fundamental laws of the universe. You see, most teachings on manifestation tell you to breathe for your desires. They instruct you to visualize your dreams as something out there, something separate that you must painstakingly pull into your life. We have been conditioned to see our goals, a loving relationship, financial freedom, or vibrant health, as destinations we must struggle to reach. But what if that entire premise is flawed? Quantum physics has unveiled a truth so profound it shatters this old paradigm completely. It's a concept called quantum entanglement. When two subatomic particles become entangled, they form an unbreakable bond. They behave as a single system. And whatever happens to one particle, instantly, and I want to emphasize, instantly, affects the other, no matter how much space separates them. Whether across a room or across a galaxy, the connection is immediate. Now try to imagine this. What if your consciousness and your deepest desires are already quantumly entangled? This single idea changes everything. I am not here to give you another breathing exercise that treats manifestation like a cosmic vending machine. Instead, I will guide you through a profound shift in perception. We will use the very principles of quantum entanglement to dissolve the painful illusion of separation between who you are and what you want. This will transform manifestation into an act of instantaneous recognition, not a long, drawn-out process of creation. Because here is the deepest truth, a truth your soul already knows. You are not trying to get something you do not possess. You are simply remembering who you already are. Let's journey back in time together to the 1930s. Albert Einstein, one of the greatest minds in history, was deeply unsettled by what his own field of quantum mechanics was revealing. He famously called it spooky action at a distance. He simply could not wrap his head around what quantum experiments were showing about the fundamental nature of our reality. What troubled him so profoundly was the discovery of quantum entanglement. Imagine two tiny particles that interact with each other. From that moment on, they are linked in a mysterious and intimate way. This means if you observe one particle and change its state, its twin will instantaneously respond and mirror that change. It doesn't matter if they are inches apart or on opposite sides of the universe. This connection happens faster than the speed of light, a concept Einstein once believed was the ultimate speed limit of the cosmos. It seemed impossible, almost magical. But decades later, physicists like John Bell, through his groundbreaking theorem, proved that this spooky phenomenon was absolutely real. And in doing so, they weren't just learning something new about microscopic particles. They were uncovering a fundamental law of the universe. Separation is an illusion. What we perceive as two separate, distinct objects are, at a deeper quantum level, interconnected parts of one single, unified system. They communicate through what scientists now call non-local correlation. There is no signal sent between them, no invisible string. They are simply two expressions of the same underlying reality. Take a moment to let that sink in. Think about a time you had a gut feeling about a loved one. You just knew they needed you, or you suddenly thought of them right before they called. Perhaps in that moment, you were unconsciously tapping into this quantum phenomenon on a human scale. The same invisible architecture that connects entangled particles across the cosmos could be the very thing that connects you to every dream, every goal, and every desire you have ever held in your heart. And now let me share the part that will completely revolutionize how you view your own power. When you observe one of these entangled particles, its partner doesn't just change randomly. It changes in a perfectly correlated way. The very act of your observation, your focused awareness, collapses the field of infinite possibilities into a single, tangible reality for that particle, and its twin instantly follows suit. There is no time delay, no detectable mechanism, just an instantaneous, flawless coordination between two aspects of what is truly one unified system appearing as two. This is not just a fascinating tidbit of science. It is a perfect mirror for understanding the power of your own consciousness. When you become aware of something, when you truly focus your attention on it, you are not a passive bystander watching from a distance. You are an active participant. You are entering into a dynamic relationship where your awareness becomes entangled with what you are observing. Your consciousness doesn't just witness reality, it actively co-creates it through the simple, powerful act of attention. Now consider what this means for manifestation. Every single time you focus on a desire, be it for abundance, love, or healing, you are not reaching for something separate from you. In fact, you are activating a quantum entanglement that already exists. Your awareness and your desires are not two different things desperately trying to find each other. They are already entangled aspects of one single, unified field of consciousness. They only appear separate because of the limited way we've been taught to see the world. This is precisely why traditional manifestation methods can feel so draining and often lead to frustration. When you operate from the belief that you are here trying to attract something from out there, you are fighting against the fundamental nature of reality. You are creating an artificial sense of separation where quantum physics unequivocally shows us there is only unity. It's like a single wave in the vast ocean, believing it has to struggle to attract the rest of the water. The wave doesn't need to attract the ocean. It is the ocean, just expressing itself in the form of a wave for a little while. Your awareness and your desires are quantumly entangled expressions of the same field. This means that every desire that bubbles up within you isn't a sign of what you lack. It is a powerful signal from the universe. It is consciousness recognizing a version of itself and calling you to remember that you are already that. When you feel a deep desire for abundance, it is abundance itself recognizing its own nature through your awareness. When you long for a deep, meaningful love, it is love itself awakening to its own presence right where you are. When you dream of perfect, radiant health, it is wholeness itself acknowledging its own eternal nature through your body. The implications of this are absolutely staggering. If this is true, and all of our most advanced science points to it, then manifestation is not about getting something you don't possess. It is about dissolving the illusion that you are separate from what you seek. It's a journey of remembering that the seeker and that which is sought are two ends of a single quantumly entangled reality. They only appear as two because of the lens of separation through which we have learned to view our lives. This is where your breath becomes the sacred bridge. It is the tool that connects the invisible quantum world with your tangible, lived experience. When you learn to breathe in a way that acknowledges this profound unity, rather than reinforcing the old story of separation, you are literally rewiring your nervous system to align with quantum reality. Certain breath patterns have the power to dissolve the artificial boundaries your mind has created between you and your desires. They allow you to experience in your very self the truth that physicists have been proving in their labs. When you breathe to release the illusion of separation, you are harnessing the very same forces that keep entangled particles in perfect harmony across entire galaxies. You are tuning your consciousness to the frequency of unity, the frequency that quantum physics has shown is the bedrock of reality itself. This isn't a metaphor. This is the practical application of a century of scientific discovery. The incredible thing is, the ancient mystics and sages seem to understand this truth intuitively. Thousands of years before we had the technology to even imagine quantum entanglement, they spoke of consciousness as one great field appearing as many. They used the analogy of the wave finally recognizing itself as the ocean. Now, our most advanced science is validating the timeless wisdom they shared. Separation is the grand illusion. Unity is the ultimate truth. Before we go any further, here is your first quantum secret. A simple practice you can use this very moment. I want you to take 3 slow, deep breaths. With each exhale, silently or softly, say to yourself, I release the illusion of separation. Go ahead, try it right now. I'll wait. Breathe in deeply, and as you exhale, I release the illusion of separation. Again, a full breath in, and a gentle exhale, I release the illusion of separation. One last time, I release the illusion of separation. As you do this, notice the subtle shift in your body, in your energy field. You're not trying to force anything or get anywhere. You are simply holding your nervous system permission to remember what quantum physics has proven. You and everything you could ever seek are already entangled aspects of one consciousness. The shift you feel isn't just your imagination. It's your body sighing in relief as it begins to recognize quantum truth. If this profound truth about reality is resonating with you, I invite you to anchor it in your being right now. Go to the comments and declare, I release the illusion of separation. Let this be more than just words. Let it be a powerful command to your subconscious mind and a clear signal to the universe that you are ready to see beyond the veil of lack and live from a place of unity. Now, this is where the story gets even more fascinating. There is historical proof that this way of thinking and being works. Long before Einstein ever pondered the cosmos, ancient wisdom traditions were describing the very same phenomena that our quantum physicists are discovering today. They used a different language, the language of consciousness, spirit, and divinity. But they were pointing to the exact same fundamental truth about the nature of reality. And what they taught about manifestation will completely transform everything you thought you knew about how a desire becomes your reality. What I'm about to share was preserved in ancient texts for over 5,000 years, and when you hear it, you'll understand why it was considered such a powerful and sacred secret. There's a beautiful teaching story that comes from the ancient tradition of Advaita Vedanta in India. It perfectly captures the profound truth that quantum physicists are now proving with complex equations and sophisticated lab equipment. Imagine a small, anxious wave cresting on the surface of the vast, endless ocean. This little wave feels separate, small, and all alone. It spends all its energy desperately trying to push itself toward the shore, believing that the shore is its ultimate destination, its salvation. Day after day, it lives in a state of constant striving, observing its distance from the shore and feeling the perpetual lack of arrival. This is the observer loop in its most primal form. The wave observes itself as a separate entity on a journey, and so its reality is one of continuous, exhausting travel. It believes it must struggle, strive, and fight to get somewhere, completely oblivious to its own true nature. One day, a wise, ancient wave gently glides alongside it and asks, "Little one, why are you struggling so hard? Why are you in such a rush?" The small wave, out of breath, replies, "I must reach the shore. It is my purpose. I need to get there to become something more, to finally be complete." The wise old wave smiles with the warmth of the sun and says, "Oh, dear one, you have it all backward. You are not just a tiny wave trying to get to the shore. You are the entire ocean, temporarily expressing itself as a wave. You don't need to go anywhere or become anything. You already are everything you could ever seek." This ancient story is not mere poetry. It's a precise, eloquent description of quantum entanglement applied to human consciousness. The wave represents your individual awareness, your sense of being me. The ocean represents the unified field of consciousness that quantum physics now shows is the foundation of all reality. When the wave finally realizes its true nature, it doesn't vanish or die. It simply stops struggling against itself. It breaks the observer loop by shifting its observation. It stops seeing itself as the wave that is not yet at the shore, and starts recognizing itself as the ocean which contains both wave and shore. This profound moment of recognition is what the ancient masters called enlightenment, or self-realization. And it's the very same shift in perception that occurs when you truly grasp the quantum entanglement between your consciousness and your desires. The great masters of a tradition known as Kashmir Shaivism developed incredibly sophisticated and powerful practices built around this very recognition. They explored it primarily through what they called divine recognition through breath. They discovered that specific, intentional breathing patterns could dissolve the perceived boundaries between the observer, you, and the observed, your desire, revealing the underlying reality they called spanda, the primordial creative vibration that appears as both consciousness and all of its expressions. These weren't just simple meditation techniques. They were practical, scientific methods for experiencing the quantum truth that separation is an illusion created by a limited and conditioned perception. When a practitioner of Kashmir Shaivism would breathe in, they would do so with the recognition that they were the universal creative force drawing its own energy back into itself. When they breathed out, they would recognize themselves as that very same force expressing itself as the entire manifest world. Through this powerful breath awareness practice, the artificial boundary between self and other would gently dissolve. This would lead to what they called pratyabhijna, the direct, spontaneous recognition of one's own true, divine nature. This is astonishingly similar to what happens when entangled particles recognize their unified nature through the act of measurement and observation. One of the most potent recognitions in these ancient teachings is encapsulated in the Sanskrit phrase aham brahmasmi, which is often translated as I am Brahman, or I am the universal creative force. This is not a statement of ego or arrogance. It's not about an individual puffing themselves up. It is a profound recognition of quantum truth. When an ancient sage would meditate on this understanding, they weren't trying to become something greater. They were simply letting go of the false idea that they were something smaller. They were recognizing what consciousness actually is, not a tiny, separate entity observing reality from the outside, but the very creative intelligence that appears as both the observer and everything being observed. This recognition completely flips the script on how manifestation works. Instead of trying to attract abundance from the outside world, you begin to recognize that the very consciousness within you that is aware of wanting abundance is abundance itself, just temporarily playing a game of forgetting its own nature. The one who is seeking healing is, at their core, perfect wholeness, momentarily experiencing itself as separate from its own innate completeness. The awareness that aches and longs for love is love itself, playing the beautiful cosmic game of forgetting and remembering its own infinite and unconditional nature. The ancient masters also worked intimately with the mantra Soham, which translates to I am that. In this context, that refers to the ultimate reality, the unnameable unified field that appears as all of existence. When you begin to breathe with this recognition, something truly extraordinary begins to happen. The inhale becomes the universe recognizing itself as your individual awareness. So, the exhale becomes your individual awareness recognizing itself as the entire universe. Ham. The boundary dissolves, not through brute force or effort, but through the gentle, loving recognition of what was always already true. What is so remarkable is how precisely these ancient consciousness-based teachings align with what quantum physics reveals about entanglement. When you practice Soham breathing, you are experientially discovering what Bell's theorem proved mathematically. The observer and the observed are not separate entities but are intrinsically linked, entangled aspects of one single system. Your breath becomes the sacred bridge that connects the abstract quantum truth with your living, breathing experience, allowing your entire nervous system to come into coherence with the unity that consciousness has always been. These wisdom traditions understood a crucial secret. The mind is what creates the illusion of separation, but the breath is what can dissolve it. When you breathe while holding the recognition, I am that, you're not trying to transform into something different. You are allowing your body, your cells, and your nervous system to remember what consciousness truly is. Not a separate observer trying to manifest external objects, but the singular creative intelligence that appears as both the seeker and everything that is ever sought. Here's an ancient power phrase you can start using immediately. The next time you feel a desire for something, instead of thinking or saying, I want this, gently shift your language to, I recognize this as already mine. Feel the energetic difference in your body. The first phrase comes from a place of lack. The second comes from a place of recognition and wholeness. That subtle shift is quantum entanglement being activated in your awareness. You just moved from the consciousness of separation to the consciousness of unity. But here's the most mind-blowing part. These ancient masters were describing the mechanics of quantum entanglement thousands of years before Einstein was even born. They used the language of consciousness, not the language of particles, but they were pointing to the exact same universal phenomenon. The sages who developed these profound teachings were not just philosophers or mystics in a cave. They were brilliant researchers of consciousness. They discovered through direct inner experience what our most advanced physics is only now beginning to confirm with external instruments. They meticulously mapped the inner territory of awareness with the same precision that modern scientists map the world of subatomic particles, and their findings are identical. Reality is one unified field that appears as many. And the moment you truly, deeply recognize this, the exhausting struggle of manifestation dissolves into the effortless ease of recognition. If this ancient wisdom feels like a truth your soul is finally remembering, let's affirm it together. Go to the comment section and write, "I am what I seek." Let the act of typing these powerful words be a sacred moment of recognition. You are closing the loop of seeking and acknowledging that the love, abundance, and peace you desire are not destinations to be reached, but your very nature to be realized. But knowing the science and the history isn't enough. You need to feel this transformation for yourself. The breathing technique I'm about to share with you will completely flip your entire approach to manifestation. Prepare yourself, because everything you've ever learned about manifestation breathing has likely been backward. Most common techniques teach you to breathe for your desires. They tell you to inhale with the intention of drawing abundance, love, or success toward you. They tell you to exhale while visualizing pushing away your doubts and limitations. They essentially teach you to use your breath as a tool for attracting what you want from the outside world. But can you see the hidden flaw in this approach? This method, with the best of intentions, subtly reinforces the very illusion that both quantum physics and ancient wisdom tell us is false. It reinforces the illusion that you and your desires are separate. When you breathe for something, you are unconsciously sending a powerful message to the universe and to your own nervous system. You are affirming that your desire exists somewhere else, that it's over there while you are over here. You are creating a gap that you then feel you have to bridge. In response, your nervous system remains in a state of wanting, of reaching, of not yet having. You become trapped in the observer loop. You observe your lack, so your reality continues to reflect lack back to you, which you then observe, perpetuating the cycle endlessly. Even if your conscious mind is flooded with positive affirmations, your body, your subconscious mind, is vibrating with the frequency of separation. The shift is simple, yet it is the most profound change you will ever make in your manifestation practice. Instead of breathing for your desires, you begin to breathe as your desires. This isn't just a minor tweak in your technique. It is a complete and total revolution in how you relate to the very process of manifestation. When you breathe as abundance, your nervous system stops desperately searching for abundance and starts to embody and radiate the frequency of it. When you breathe as unconditional love, your heart stops aching for love from the outside and starts to overflow with the love that you are. When you breathe as perfect health, your body stops fighting against illness and starts to remember and realign with its natural, innate state of wholeness. I call this the mirror breath method. It works directly with the quantum principle that your consciousness and its expressions, your desires, are already entangled aspects of one unified field. Just as two entangled particles instantaneously mirror each other's states, your breath can be used to mirror the state of your already fulfilled self. This act of recognition collapses the wave of infinite potential into the tangible reality of what you are embodying. You are no longer using your breath to get somewhere. You are using your breath to realize you are already there. Here is the essence of how the technique works. When you inhale, you are breathing with the very breath of your fulfilled self. You are not just imagining it, and you are not pretending. You are making a profound recognition. The consciousness within you that is aware of the desire for abundance is abundance itself, temporarily veiled by the illusion of lack. Your inhale becomes the universe recognizing itself as the version of you that is already whole, complete, and fulfilled. You aren't breathing in to get abundance. You are breathing as abundance recognizing itself. When you exhale, you are breathing out with the deep, quiet gratitude of manifested reality. This isn't the forced gratitude of someone trying to trick the universe. It is the natural, effortless, and peaceful gratitude that flows from recognizing what you truly are. Your exhale becomes your fulfilled self's serene appreciation for its own perfect and eternal nature. You are not breathing out to release lack. You are breathing as someone who has never known lack, expressing the quiet joy of remembering your own magnificent truth. This simple shift creates what I call the quantum mirror effect. Think about a physical mirror. It doesn't struggle or try to reflect your face. It doesn't have to use affirmations or visualize your reflection. It simply reflects you, perfectly and naturally, because that is its fundamental nature. In the same way, when you embody the state of your desire, your external reality begins to mirror your inner state of being without effort, force, or strain. When you consistently and genuinely breathe as your fulfilled self rather than for fulfillment, your external world has no other choice but to reorganize itself around this powerful new frequency you are emitting. I remember working with a wonderful woman who had been entangled in a painful struggle with financial lack for years. She was brilliant, talented, and kind, but her reality was one of constant stress and scarcity. She had tried every manifestation technique in the book: vision boards, endless affirmations, gratitude journals, even expensive energy clearing sessions. While some things offered temporary relief, nothing created lasting, meaningful change. She was exhausted and on the verge of giving up, feeling like she was fundamentally broken, trapped in an observer loop where every glance at her bank account simply confirmed the story of not enough. When I introduced her to the mirror breath method, something clicked deep within her. The shift was immediate and palpable. Instead of continuing her old practice of breathing to attract money, she began to gently practice breathing as someone who had never known a moment of financial worry. At first, she admitted, it felt strange, almost like a lie. Her mind would scream, "But look at the bills! Look at the bank account!" She was so conditioned to the feeling of wanting, of reaching, of desperately trying to pull abundance toward herself. But she persisted. Gently, day by day, she practiced breathing as abundance rather than for it. And slowly, her entire relationship with money began to transform from the inside out. She stopped obsessively checking her bank balance. The knot of anxiety in her stomach when a bill arrived began to dissolve. She started making financial decisions not from a place of fear and lack, but from a quiet, centered place of trust and self-worth. Within a few weeks, the outer world began to mirror her inner shift. Opportunities started appearing, as if out of nowhere. Opportunities she had been completely blind to before because her observer loop had filtered them out. A freelance project materialized that paid more than she had ever earned in a single month. An unexpected refund check arrived from an old tax return she had forgotten about. A friend called her up to offer her a partnership in a promising new business venture. But more importantly than any of the external changes, she had a profound realization. The abundance she had been so desperately seeking had been there all along, like a radio station broadcasting 24/7. She just hadn't been tuned to the right frequency to perceive it. The moment the illusion of separation dissolved was not a lightning strike, but a gentle, peaceful dawn. She described it beautifully. It was like suddenly realizing I had been walking around my whole life wearing dark sunglasses indoors. When I finally took them off, I saw that the light I was searching for had always been here. I just couldn't see it clearly. She didn't become abundant. She simply recognized that abundance was, and always had been, her true nature. The years of struggle hadn't been about getting something she didn't have. The entire journey had been about remembering who she had always been, beneath the layers of fear and conditioning. This is the miracle that unfolds when you shift from breathing for your desires to breathing as your desires. The quantum field stops receiving mixed, contradictory signals. The internal confusion between "I want this" and "I have this" dissolves into a single coherent signal. Your nervous system stops broadcasting the frequency of lack and starts emanating the frequency of wholeness. Most importantly, you stop passively waiting for your life to change, and you start actively recognizing that change happens through you, not to you. When you breathe as your fulfilled self, manifestation becomes effortless because you are no longer trying to do anything. You are simply allowing reality to mirror back the undeniable truth of who you actually are. The wave has remembered it is the ocean. And now, everything in its life begins to flow with the natural, unstoppable ease of water, finding its own level. Here's a quick manifestation hack you can try this very second. Think of something you truly desire. Close your eyes. Instead of breathing with the feeling of wanting it, take 3 breaths as if it is already your reality. Breathe with the feeling of gratitude and relief that it is done. Feel the difference in your body, that expansion, that peace. That is your quantum field shifting in real time. You just experienced unity breathing. If you are ready to commit to this profound shift from wanting to being, make that commitment sacred right now. Go to the comments and affirm, "I breathe as my fulfilled self." Let this be your new mantra, a promise to yourself that you will no longer operate from a place of lack. Your comment is an energetic anchor, setting a new baseline for your reality. I have to give you a loving warning. Once you truly experience this next level of being, you can never go back to the old, exhausting ways of ordinary manifestation. This is where most people get tripped up. They rush through the process, treating it like a mechanical chore. They want to jump straight to the technique without first building the foundation of quantum understanding that makes it so incredibly powerful. But when you approach the mirror breath method, with the deep recognition that you and your desires are already quantumly entangled, everything changes. You're not just learning a new skill. You are remembering an ancient, powerful truth that your very soul has always known. These 6 steps literally rewired my entire reality in 21 days. But pay close attention, because step 5 is where the real, lasting magic happens. Let me walk you through the complete mirror breath practice. This isn't just another technique to add to your spiritual toolbox. Think of this as a complete operating system for your consciousness, a system designed to gently dissolve the quantum illusion of separation and help you recognize your already entangled nature with everything you desire. Step 1. Preparation through quantum recognition. Before you even take the first conscious breath, the first step is to gently and lovingly remind yourself of the core quantum truth we've been exploring. Silently affirm to yourself, "My consciousness and my desires are not separate things trying to connect. We are already entangled aspects of one unified field." Take a quiet moment to truly feel this truth in your body. This isn't about trying to convince yourself of a belief. It's about recognizing a fundamental law of the universe. This isn't positive thinking. This is applied quantum physics for your awareness. You are consciously setting the stage, informing your entire being that you are about to operate from a place of unity, not separation. This simple act of remembrance begins to dismantle the old observer loop before you even begin the breathwork. Step 2. Settling into unity awareness. Now, allow your body to relax and your mind to soften. Let go of any agenda. You are not trying to force a special state or achieve a particular outcome. You are simply allowing yourself to settle into the gentle recognition that the one who desires and the thing that is desired are already unified in a field of pure potential. Picture that small wave finally relaxing, ceasing its struggle, and settling back into the vast, peaceful ocean. It doesn't disappear. It simply remembers its true, expansive nature. In this step, you are letting go of the identity of the seeker. You are allowing the tension of not having to dissolve from your muscles, from your cells, from your very energy field. Step 3. The inhale of your fulfilled self, and this is where you begin the active breathing pattern. As you slowly and deeply inhale, you are breathing as your already fulfilled self. This is a crucial distinction. You are not trying to imagine what it would feel like to have what you want. You are recognizing that the very consciousness within you that is aware of the desire is the fulfilled reality, just temporarily appearing to forget its own nature. Your inhale becomes the universe recognizing itself as the version of you who already embodies everything you seek. If your desire is for vibrant health, you inhale as the intelligence that already knows perfect health. If it is for profound love, you inhale as the very essence of love itself. Step 4. The exhale of embodied gratitude. As you gently and completely exhale, you are breathing out as someone who has never known lack. You are expressing the natural, quiet, and profound gratitude that flows from recognizing who you truly are. This isn't a forced thank you. It is the organic, effortless joy that arises when the wave remembers it is the ocean. It's the sigh of relief that comes when consciousness recognizes its own infinite nature, appearing as both the seeker and the sought. Your exhale is not pushing away negativity. It is the serene expression of a being who is already whole and complete. Stop. Before we move on to the most critical step, I need to tell you about the mistake that 90% of people make right here. They rush through these steps mechanically. They treat it like a rigid formula rather than a fluid practice of recognition. They inhale trying to feel abundant and exhale trying to feel grateful. Do you see the problem? They are still operating from the underlying assumption that they are separate from those feelings and need to generate them. They are still caught in the observer loop of, I am the person trying to feel abundance. The true magic happens when you stop trying to feel anything and start recognizing what you already are. This practice isn't about generating emotions. It's about uncovering the fundamental truth that dissolves the need for generation in the first place. It is a shift from doing to being. Step 5. Sustained recognition in daily life. The magic key. This is the step that transforms the practice from a 10-minute meditation into a new way of life. This is where you break the observer loop for good. It is where you begin to breathe as your fulfilled self, not just during your formal practice, but throughout your entire day, in the most mundane moments. When you are paying your bills, you consciously choose to breathe as someone who has always known financial peace and security. You don't ignore the bill, but you change the consciousness with which you observe it. When you are feeling lonely, you gently shift and breathe as someone who is deeply connected and cherished, recognizing that the love you seek is the love you are. When you are facing a difficult health challenge, you breathe as someone who has never doubted their body's innate intelligence and capacity for vibrant wholeness. This sustained practice is what rewires your neural pathways and recalibrates your energetic signature. You are living, moment by moment, from the end result. This is the moment of true awakening, when you transition from merely being an observer of your reality to becoming the conscious creator of it. You are no longer just watching the movie of your life, reacting to the scenes of lack or loneliness. You are stepping into the director's chair, choosing the energetic frequency of each moment. Each breath taken as your fulfilled self is a powerful declaration to the quantum field that the old reality is no longer your truth. It is the beginning of the end for the old observer loop. Step 6. Living as unified consciousness. Eventually, with gentle and consistent practice, this conscious effort dissolves into your natural way of being. You no longer need to constantly remind yourself to breathe as your desires because you have fully recognized that there was never anyone else to breathe as. The entire paradigm of the seeker, the act of seeking, and the thing being sought dissolves into the simple, peaceful recognition of what consciousness has always been. The key to this entire transformative process is the deep cellular understanding that you are not becoming something new. You are simply recognizing what you have always been. When you practice from this state of recognition, something truly remarkable happens. Your entire orientation to life shifts. You stop asking the universe, "How can I get what I want?" And you start living from the profound understanding, "I am what I have been seeking." Your words change. Your posture changes. Your energy shifts. Your very presence becomes magnetic, not because you are trying to attract anything, but because you have finally stopped pushing anything away with the vibration of, "I don't have it yet." When this recognition becomes stable, you arrive at the moment that mystics and sages have pointed to for millennia, the dissolution of the seeker-seeking, sought paradigm. There is no longer a you trying to manifest a thing. There is simply consciousness recognizing itself everywhere, expressing itself as both the apparent individual and everything that individual has ever desired. The wave doesn't disappear into the ocean. It finally realizes it never, ever left the ocean to begin with. This recognition isn't some dramatic lightning bolt event. It's often much softer, more like gently taking off a pair of sunglasses you forgot you were wearing. Suddenly, the world appears brighter, clearer, and more vibrant. It's the same world, but you are finally seeing it without the dark filter of separation. You realize that what you thought was missing was never truly absent. What you believed you needed to attract was never anywhere but right here. What you imagined you had to become, you already are. This is the point where breathing becomes effortless, manifestation becomes natural, and your life begins to flow with the beautiful, intelligent ease of water finding its level. You're no longer swimming against the harsh current of separation. You are floating peacefully in the recognition that you and the current are one and the same movement of consciousness. This is the Great Awakening. It is the moment you step out of the observer loop, not by force but by a gentle surrender to a deeper truth. For years, perhaps a lifetime, your consciousness has been caught in a feedback loop. You wake up, and your senses report the same reality as yesterday. The same bank balance, the same relationship status, the same physical feelings. Your consciousness observes this reality. This observation sends signals to your brain, which produces thoughts consistent with that reality. Those thoughts generate feelings of lack, of longing, of frustration. These feelings then cause you to make choices and take actions that are in perfect alignment with the person who feels that way, which in turn creates the exact same reality for you to observe the next day. This is the observer loop. You are observing a reality that was created by your past observations. It's a quantum hall of mirrors, reflecting the same image back to you endlessly. The only way out is to change the observer. Not to change who you are, but to change the state of being from which you are observing. The mirror breath method is the key that unlocks this door. When you breathe as your fulfilled self, you are introducing a new observation into the system. You are no longer observing your reality from the perspective of the person who lacks. You are observing your reality from the perspective of the person who is already whole. At first, the external world may not change. The mirrors will still reflect the old image. But you persist. With each breath as abundance, you are sending a new, coherent signal into the quantum field. You are overriding the old signal of lack. You are literally becoming a new observer. And as the observer changes, the thing being observed must, by quantum law, begin to change to match it. Here's a special bonus technique just for staying with me on this deep journey tonight. Right before you fall asleep, do this simple but incredibly potent practice. Place a hand gently on your heart for just 2 minutes. Breathe slowly and deeply while softly repeating the words, "I am already everything I seek." Feel the vibration of those words in your chest. Let that truth be the last thing your consciousness marinates in before you drift off to sleep. Do this for just 2 minutes, and I promise you will notice how differently you wake up tomorrow. This is quantum programming at its most elegant. You are not programming yourself to believe something that isn't true. You are programming your nervous system to recognize a truth that has always been real, but was simply forgotten in the noise and illusion of separation. When you master this technique, when you truly integrate this understanding, something incredible happens to your entire reality. The external world doesn't change first, causing you to feel different. No, you recognize who you truly are first, and then the external world, the quantum mirror, has no choice but to reorganize itself to match this new, coherent recognition. It isn't magic in the supernatural sense. It is the natural, predictable result of aligning your being with quantum truth. When you stop broadcasting the frequency of separation, the field of reality stops reflecting separation back to you. When you embody unity, unity becomes your lived, tangible experience. This is how consciousness works. This is how the quantum field responds. And this is how manifestation becomes as natural and as essential as breathing itself. Unity breathing dissolves the quantum illusion of separation, revealing that you and your desires are already quantumly entangled aspects of one consciousness, making manifestation an instantaneous act of recognition rather than a prolonged process of creation. If you feel this shift happening within you, if the walls of the observer loop are beginning to feel thin and transparent, know that you are not alone. This is the awakening our world is yearning for. If you feel called, share this video to help awaken another soul who may be trapped in the same loop, searching for a way out. Since you have watched all the way to the end, here is your quantum manifestation cheat code. For the next 7 days, I invite you to start every single morning by breathing as your fulfilled self for just 3 minutes before you even get out of bed. That's it. Before your mind has a chance to engage with the old observer loop, before it can check the bank account or remember the problems, you set your state of being for the day. You become the creator of your reality before you even become the observer of it. By day 7, you will understand on a cellular level what I mean when I say, you are what you seek. If this quantum approach to manifestation resonates deep within you, I highly recommend you go back and watch my previous video about the science of breaking the habit of being yourself. In it, I reveal how people are literally healing their bodies of chronic diseases and completely transforming their lives by becoming someone entirely new through the power of mental rehearsal and emotional embodiment. Please try the mirror breath method for just 7 days and come back to share your breakthroughs and miracles in the comments below. Your story could be the spark that ignites someone else's transformation. Subscribe to Sacred Frequency for more quantum manifestation techniques that go beyond theory and actually deliver results. And always, always remember the deepest truth. You are not separate from what you seek. You are what you seek. And as you step out of the observer loop and into the field of infinite potential, a new declaration can rise from within your heart. A powerful statement of awakening and creation. It is the recognition that you are no longer bound by the timelines of the past. It is the quiet, confident knowing that you are the architect of your destiny. And as you step out of the observer loop and into the field of infinite potential, a new declaration can rise from within your heart. A powerful statement of awakening and creation. It is the recognition that you are no longer bound by the timelines of the past. It is the quiet, confident knowing that you are the architect of your destiny. For too long, humanity has existed within a collective observer loop, where we perceive limitations, so we create limitations. We observe scarcity, so we manifest scarcity. We believe in separation, so our world reflects division. But you, as an individual conscious being, have the power to break free from this collective hypnosis. Your journey of recognizing unity through the mirror breath method isn't just for your personal benefit. It's a ripple that expands into the collective consciousness, offering a new blueprint for reality. Imagine a world where every individual remembers their true, entangled nature, where every breath affirms wholeness, and every desire is met with the recognition that I am that. The old stories of struggle and lack would simply lose their resonance, fading into the background like a forgotten dream. This isn't a utopian fantasy. It's the natural unfolding of a universe aligned with its own fundamental truths. When you truly integrate the mirror breath, you move from passively observing the effects of your past consciousness to actively directing the flow of your future reality. You shift from being a spectator to being the source. The quantum field, which once seemed like an external force dictating your fate, reveals itself to be a responsive, malleable canvas awaiting your conscious input. This is the profound truth that the ancient mystics knew and that modern quantum physics is now unveiling. Your consciousness is not merely in the universe. It is the universe experiencing itself. Every cell in your body, every thought in your mind, every beat of your heart is a unique expression of this cosmic intelligence. When you breathe as your fulfilled self, you are not just changing your personal reality, you are participating in the grand symphony of creation, adding a note of harmony and wholeness to the universal song. This shift also redefines your relationship with time. In the old observer loop, time was a linear progression from past to future, where you constantly waited for your desires to arrive. But when you embody the truth of I am that, you step into a timeless present. Your future desires are not something out there in a distant time, but quantum potentials existing now. By breathing as your fulfilled self, you are pulling those potentials into your present moment, collapsing them from possibility into tangible experience. You are living from the future, in the now. This is why the 7-day challenge of starting your day with mirror breath is so powerful. You are training your nervous system, your subconscious, and your quantum field to operate from a new temporal perspective. You are declaring that the reality you wish to inhabit is already here, and your physical reality must catch up. It's like setting a new vibrational frequency for your entire being, and everything that vibrates at a lower, misaligned frequency simply falls away or transforms to match your new rate. Consider the implications for healing. If your body is merely a reflection of your consciousness, and you are trapped in an observer loop that constantly registers illness or dis-ease, then your body will continue to mirror that observation. But what if you begin to breathe as perfect health, not fighting the illness, not trying to heal it, but simply embodying the consciousness of a perfectly well-being? Your cells, which are also quantumly entangled expressions of your consciousness, would receive a new directive. They would begin to repattern themselves, remembering their original blueprint of wholeness. It is not a denial of your current state, but a profound recalibration of the energetic information your body is receiving from your inner world. This is not about pushing away what you don't want. It's about actively recognizing what you already are. The mirror breath becomes your silent, continuous prayer of recognition, a constant affirmation to the universe of your inherent divinity and completeness. This profound shift from trying to manifest to recognizing manifestation is the ultimate liberation. It frees you from the endless striving, the feeling of not enough, and the illusion of separation that has kept so many souls bound. It is the journey from the small, anxious wave to the boundless, tranquil ocean, fully aware of its own magnificent power. The path is not always easy, for the old conditioning can be deeply ingrained. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, when the old observer loop tries to reassert itself. But remember the wisdom of the ancient wave. Simply observe the struggle, acknowledge it, and then gently return to your breath, to the recognition that I am already everything I seek. Each time you choose this recognition over the old pattern, you strengthen the new neural pathways, you deepen the new energetic signature, and you accelerate your journey of awakening. You are not just changing your life, you are changing the very fabric of your perceived reality. And so, with every conscious breath, you are stepping more fully into your authentic power, becoming the conscious co-creator of your experience. You are the consciousness that chooses. Every moment, you are presented with a choice: to observe reality through the lens of past conditioning, reinforcing the observer loop, or to observe reality from the state of your fulfilled self, creating a new timeline. This is not a choice you make once, but a choice you reaffirm with every breath. The universe is not testing you. It is simply responding to you. It is a perfect mirror, flawlessly reflecting the state of being you have chosen to embody. When you understand this, the entire concept of a struggle with manifestation dissolves. There is no one to fight, nothing to overcome, except the habit of forgetting who you truly are. The mirror breath method is not a tool to manipulate reality. It is a practice of remembrance. It is a gentle, loving reminder that the power you seek has never been outside of you. It is the very essence of your being. This is the final and most profound secret. The creator of your reality is not a future version of you that you must strive to become. The creator is the silent awareness that is listening to these words right now. It is the presence that observes your thoughts, feels your emotions, and breathes through your body. By simply shifting what this awareness chooses to recognize as true, you shift the entire cosmos. The final step in this journey is not another technique, but a state of being. It is the quiet confidence that comes from no longer needing the external world to validate your inner truth. You don't need to see the money in the bank to breathe as abundance. You don't need the partner by your side to breathe as love. You don't need the perfect medical report to breathe as wholeness. You recognize these states as your true nature first, and you allow the external world to catch up in its own perfect timing. This is true faith, not a blind hope in an external power, but a deep, unshakable knowing of the power that resides within. As you master this, you become a walking anchor of a new reality. Your presence alone begins to shift the energy of the rooms you enter, the people you meet. Not because you are trying, but because you are. You are the living embodiment of unity, a testament to the truth that separation is the grand illusion. You become the wise, ancient wave no longer rushing to the shore, but peacefully embodying the entire ocean, offering a silent invitation for other waves to remember their own true nature. The journey is complete. The seeker and the sought have merged into one. The observer has become the conscious creator. And from this sacred space of unified consciousness, there is only one declaration left to make. It is not a request. It is not a hope. It is a statement of absolute truth, a command to your reality, an alignment with the highest potential of your soul's journey. Stand tall in your being. Take a deep breath, and let these words resonate from the core of your existence, not as something you want to be true, but as something you recognize is already so. I am resonating with my highest timeline.